All right, UFC Vegas 115, Renato Moicano versus Chris Duncan. Full card predictions and betting breakdown from the War Room alongside Chris Shorey. I'm Shrikar Rajendran. Guys, we won't beat around the bush telling you this. This card absolutely sucks. It is mind-blowingly terrible. Like it is not good. Whether you want to watch it or not, totally up to your discretion. If you want to take an off week before we have UFC 327 next week, by all means, take this card off. Like, you don't need to watch it. We're breaking it down for the love of the game, but I know Chris shares the same sentiments. We're not over the moon about this card. We don't think it's very good. The main event being Moicano and Duncan in the first place, I don't think that's a great Apex main event, but here we are. It's 5 rounds. I think this would have been a perfectly suitable fight on the undercard of a pay-per-view as only a 3-rounder. I think that's all that was really necessary here. I don't see this as a headliner, but it's what we've got. And even looking at the co-main, Virna Jandiroba versus Tabatha Ricci is not one that I'm really looking forward to. There are some good prospects on here. Obviously, you'll look at the lines and we'll get into it deeper, but there's some very, very wide odds on this card. But yeah, Chris, overall, what are your thoughts, man?
I think this is going to be a slop fest. I'm just shooting it straight right now. Not super excited about this card. I mean, I'm sure there will be a few diamond in the rough fights, but yeah, I mean, I love Chris Duncan. For him to be in a main event against Moicano, I think it's more of just a fight to boost him up the rankings, if I'm being completely honest, if that's kind of alluding to who my pick is going to be. But yeah, I mean, there's not too many bright spots on this card. I mean, I would say save your money if you were thinking about betting on this card. I'm a donkey, so I'm probably going to throw a few bets, but yeah, it's not a very favorable betting card, if I'm being completely honest. But yeah, I mean, there are some prospects that I am looking forward to seeing. Our guy, Jose Delano, he is finally making his UFC
I am excited
debut.
for that. I am excited for that.
Love Jose Delano. He is a beautiful striker. So that'll be fun to see. I'm also kind of interested to see how Tommy McMillen's going to do. I believe he is the second biggest favorite on the card at, I believe it's over minus 1,000 now. And then Abdul-Rakhman Yakyaev. That should be a complete layup against Brendan Ribeiro. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I think we're all just waiting for UFC 327 at this point, which will be an absolutely great card in Miami next week. So yeah, I mean, it is what it is. You got to have some filler cards, but I understand why the UFC is kind of saving their chess pieces for the future cards.
But we're going to go top to bottom through this entire card, give you guys our predictions, any bets that we think are of value on this card that's pretty devoid of betting value. So if you're with us, make sure you subscribe, turn on those post notifications, follow the socials down below. Make sure you share the video as well. It would help us out a lot. But let's get right into our first fight of the night. We got Kai Kamaka III versus Dakota Hope making his UFC debut. Chris, I don't usually go to you first. I'm going to go to you first. Who you got winning this fight?
Yeah, this is interesting. I mean, until a few days ago, I was not very well educated on either of these fighters. And for a casual fan, they probably have no idea who these guys are. But I think it could be an interesting fight to open up the card. Dakota Hope 11-1, Kai Kamaka 17-7. So you got some guys who have a decent amount of professional MMA experience. On short notice, Dakota Hope is stepping in, and he is a teammate of Joshua Van. Mm-hmm. And I love Joshua Van. So I'm going to pick Dakota Hope. Yeah, I mean, there's really, it's a little hard to break down this fight because Dakota, he is 11-1, but he hasn't really fought the best competition. And, Kai has more of a resume, if we could say that. I mean, he has 24 professional MMA fights. I feel like Dakota is going to come in here like a bat out of hell. He's going to be on the front foot. He's a solid striker. Takedown defense should hold up, in my opinion. I think he's kind of just going to be like Josh Van and put pedal to the metal. I mean, you're training with a guy like that. It's like iron sharpens iron. And I forgot his name, but I'm a big fan of Joshua Van's coach and trainers. I think that they run a very solid gym, and obviously he's their prize. He's kind of like their prized possession. But yeah, I mean, I'm gonna stick with Dakota Hope because I think that he will have the skills to combat Kai Kamaka. But yeah, it'll be an interesting fight against two debutantes. So yeah, Dakota Hope. I'll go by decision on short notice.
I think you gave a great breakdown. I'm going to shoot it to you guys straight. I have not seen any tape on Dakota Hope. I do know about Kai Kamaka, and I've seen some of Kai Kamaka's fights. I'm going to take Kamaka as the favorite here. I mean, this is one that's going to be subject to change once I actually go in and watch Dakota Hope. But that's literally all I can put it. I can't really give you guys a full breakdown for this fight just because I haven't seen Hope and I haven't seen enough tape. But give me Kamaka as the favorite. I guess we'll just give you parity for the sake of parity. But hey, if you go follow our Instagram, War Room MMA Pod, it's down below. You will get our final predictions on the day of the fights. So if I do end up switching to Dakota Hope, you will now know the reason why. So give me Kamaka very, very cautiously here, but we're going to quickly go on to the second.
I am going to be honest. I kind of just watched the highlight tape on Dakota Hope. I guess it wasn't really full fights. He is from Fury FC though, which isn't a terrible promotion, but yeah, he's a good highlight tape. I'll tell you that.
And obviously, yeah, as you mentioned, if he's working with Joshua Van, it's part of a good gym that they're building over there with Joshua Van, Michael Aswell, and now you can maybe add Dakota Hope to that list. But second fight of the night, Deone Barbosa taking on Melissa Gatto. I'm going to be real with y'all. I like Barbosa here. I think she's the more reliable fighter, especially when it comes to control. Like, yes, Gatto can hit takedowns, but what does she do after? That's always been the issue. She's not great at actually holding position. And against someone like Barbosa, that's a problem because I think Barbosa can take Gatto down and actually keep her there. Control her, maybe threaten a sub, just rack up control time and win rounds that way. Now, do I think she gets finished? Probably not. I'm leaning more decision here, but I do think she's clearly the better grappler overall. Wrestling, jiu-jitsu, all of it. And if you look at Barbosa's last fight against Karine Silva, it was a competitive fight. It was a super close fight. And she took that on short notice too. So there's actually a lot of positives there. Gatto, we just haven't seen in forever. Like I honestly forgot she was still around. And when I saw her booked, I'm thinking she's like 34, 35 or something. She's not even 30 yet. She's still kind of ripe. But when you actually look at her resume recently, it's just not that great to me. That win over Tamiris Vidal at 135, I'm sorry, that just doesn't move me at all. That is low-level competition. You really got to go all the way back almost 3 years to the split decision against Lipsky. And then she got outworked by Tracy Cortez in a fight where she just couldn't deal with the control. And that's kind of what I see happening again here. So I think Barbosa hits takedowns, gets on top, just controls the fight. Even on the feet, I'm not really worried about Barbosa getting pieced up. Gatto throws volume, but there's just not a ton of power there. Barbosa's the better athlete, better grappler. Honestly, she just feels more locked in right now. She's training at the PI, putting in work. I think she's trying to level up. So yeah, give me Deone Barbosa by decision. Probably a 29-28 fight. We'll look at the over 2.5, which I believe is going to be pretty juiced here. I'm seeing it at minus 300-ish, but I have to actually open DK first. But over 2.5 makes sense. I mean, this feels like a full 3-rounder all day. So yeah, give me Barbosa here.
Yeah, I'm definitely on Deone Barbosa here. I am on the side that she got robbed in her last fight against Karine Silva. It was a decently close fight, especially in that third round, but I personally thought she did enough. Might be some bias because I had Deone Barbosa, but yeah, it was good. I think it was a good showing from her in that fight. And like you said, Gatto, I just really haven't seen that much from her. Like she does shoot takedowns, she can get them, but definitely holding her opponent there is a different story. She doesn't have very good top control. And then on the side of Barbosa, I think that she is someone that will walk forward, walk through the fire, throw throw some heavy punches, once she gets her hands on you, and drags you to the mat. She does have very good top control, in my opinion. And she's able to keep her opponents there and work. She's not a fighter that will, just take you down and kind of just sit there and wait and rack up control time. She does work towards subs and, so a little bit of ground and pound. But yeah, I think she's just going to be the more aggressive fighter and put Gatto on the back foot. And yeah, I think she's the rightful favorite in this. And I do like this fight to go to decision, even though Barbosa is minus 130. I think the line actually has shortened a bit, but I think that's actually a pretty good price for a fighter like Diony Barbosa. So yeah, give me her by decision, and I think it should be pretty easy if I'm gonna be frank. So yeah.
Now we move on. Azamat Bikoev versus Tresean Gore. I'm not gonna lie to you, Chris. This one feels like a setup.
This is definitely a setup. I'm taking Azamat Bikoev all day. Tresean Gore, he's fun, but I don't think he's the better fighter in any aspect of mixed martial arts against Azamat. I mean, against Rodolfo Vieira in his last time out, he did a good job of defending the takedowns. I believe Vieira shot like 12, maybe 13, 14 takedowns in that. And Gore actually did a solid job of defending, but I think that was his main emphasis in camp, was defending the takedowns, being ready for the grappling. And he just completely lost the striking exchange every single time. He was not throwing any punches. And with a guy like Bikoev, I think that, one, he's a better grappler than Vieira, maybe not in terms of Brazilian jiu-jitsu, but in terms of wrestling and actually dragging someone down to the mat, that is his strong suit. He can do that. He's also not a bad puncher. Or striker, excuse me. I mean, obviously in his last time out, he got absolutely worked by Yusri Belgarui, and we just saw what he did against Mansour Abdul Malik in Seattle. I mean, that guy is ridiculous. He's also massive. So that loss, is honestly very understandable. Bikoev having a huge size disadvantage. But against Gore, yeah, I think Bikoev's the better fighter all around. It should be extremely easy for him to just go in there and take control of this. So yeah, Bikoev by I want to say decision, because Tresean Gore is tough, but I could definitely see a finish. So I'm just gonna go Bikoev. It's like minus 600 right now. I think that's pretty valid, and he should honestly probably be more. So
yeah, give me Bikoev all day. Like, I know Gore is athletic, he's explosive, he's got some power, but the fight IQ just is not there. The striking is not clean. He makes a ton of mistakes. I like how you mentioned that Rodolfo Vieira fight. He got outstruck for 3 rounds, and we just saw Vieira get smoked on the feet by Bo Nickel. That's not a good look. I don't think that's a loss that's aging very well at all.
Nope.
And then before that, he gets knocked out by Marco Tulio very, very violently. And yeah, he's got a couple wins by standing guillotine, but I mean, come on, that's just not
those
something.
Are fluky.
Yeah, you don't bank on that. As long as Bikoev doesn't do something dumb and get caught in one of those, I mean, he should dominate this fight, because Bikoev is a pressure guy. He's in your face. He's throwing bombs. He's looking to bully you, whether it's on the feet or taking you down and just smashing you from the ground and pound. He's bringing violence. And honestly, his loss aged well, because as you mentioned, the Yusri Belgarui fight, I mean, Yusri is out here destroying people. So that is just not bad a loss at all. And now he's fighting a guy in Gore who is reckless. He's been knocked out before. Yeah, I think Bikoev gets him. And I don't think this goes the distance. I think Bikoev finds a big shot. He loves the overhand, probably finds an overhand, puts him out. Yeah, Gore fights a little wild. Chin's a bit high at times. So I can see him getting clipped in round 1. So give me Bikoev by KO in the first. And yeah, the odds are wide for a reason. He is a minus 600 favorite for a reason. This is one of those fights he should win. If you're playing anything, I think inside the distance makes sense. I'm not even messing 200. Yeah, I'm not even messing with the over-unders here. I think they're trying to bait you with that. But yeah, Bikoev gets a statement win here, gets himself back on track. All right, next up, Alice Pereira versus Haley Cohen. This one, I'm not gonna lie. This one is kind of a coin flip for me.
Make the right decision, Shrikar.
I'm leaning Elise Pereira here. And the biggest reason is the upside. I mean, she's only 20 years old. Like, that alone tells you there's a ton of room to improve. And even in her debut, she lost a split. I actually did like some of what I saw. I mean, she was in there with Montserrat Rendon, and yeah, she lost, but she was scrapping. And I mean, throwing with her, showing grit, mixing it up. And she was 19 at the time. Now she gets another fight 6 months later, a little more experience, probably less nerves going from a crowd to the apex. I think she looks better here. And when I compare her to Cohen, I've just never really been impressed with Haley Cohen, if I'm being honest. I thought she lost on Contender Series. Then she comes into the UFC, gets upset, then gets submitted by Nora Cornell. Like, that's a red flag. Like, Cornell is not some crazy submission artist, and you're getting subbed. Like, it's not a good look. And Cohen has moments. I mean, don't get me wrong, but it always feels like she's just a step behind. Like, she's just not putting it all together. Pereira has the faster hands, the better range, little sharper striking overall. Honestly, I'll go as far as saying she has more dog. And in a fight like this, I think it's about who has more dog. At least Pereira has definitely got more dog. So she's willing to sit in there and throw. So I think it's a competitive fight. I think it'll probably go to a decision. You look at the over 2.5, minus 330. That makes total sense. But I think Pereira edges it just with the cleaner shots, the better striking, slightly more aggressive as the fight goes on. So give me Elise Pereira by decision. I'll say it's a close one. I'll say it's a 29-28.
Yeah, I'm on Alice Pereira all day. Haley Cowan, you know, she does have a solid frame. She is decently athletic. Big red flag for me is she's fought twice in the past 3 years. That's not great. Not great. And like you said, subbed by Nora Cornell, who is not really a submission expert. I believe she is a decently high belt in BJJ, but I mean, I don't think that we can still put a lot of emphasis on that being like a great loss or even a good loss. Yeah, I think Pereira, like you said, I think she's going to have more dog in this fight. I think she's a great striker. She's super young. I think that her first fight against Rendon, even though she just got ran through by Bia Mesquita is, I mean, in my opinion, a very highly touted prospect and someone that's going to really shake up the UFC and even women's mixed martial arts. But yeah, I think Pereira, I think she's the better fighter in this. I don't really see her wavering too much. I see her, you know, not getting in exchanges, but creating the exchanges. And if she's throwing first, that's going to be hard for Haley Cowan to combat because Pereira is far and away the better striker in this. But yeah, I think it should be pretty easy for her. I just do not like how Cowan is, you know, like I said, she's fought twice in the past 3 years. That's not really someone that I want to side with. And yeah, I mean, it sometimes they'll make you eat your words, but I think that Pereira is just going to be the better fighter overall in this. So yeah, I think her by decision is pretty valid. And actually the first two women's fights on this card have the exact same odds. The favorite is minus 130, underdog is plus 110, which I think is kind of funny. It means absolutely nothing, but yeah, I think Pereira should win this pretty easily.
Now this one,
another guy who hasn't fought in 3 years.
Lando Venata versus Darius Flowers. Chris, what in the entire world are we doing here?
I have no idea. I'm super confused. I am very, very confused. Yeah, like what is happening? Like literally what is happening? I mean, like I know the UFC is saving their good fights for bigger cards, but like why is this a fight? And what is Lando Venata doing? I mean, he literally had his last fight was 3 years ago, like I just said, in a loss to Daniel Zellhuber. Daniel Zellhuber was good at that time, so I guess we can give him that. I mean, I'm going to be completely honest. How is Lando minus 220, 225? How? He hasn't fought in 3 years. I get Darius Flowers is not very good. But at the same time, like what are they seeing that I'm not seeing? I'm going with Darius Flowers strictly on the fact that Lando Venata has done nothing for 3 years. I have no idea if he's been training or not. Going out ripping beers at the bar. I don't know. I have not seen anything about him in 3 years. So yeah, Darius Flowers at plus money. Yeah, I'm gonna take it. There's like not even a breakdown for this fight. Like, what can we even say? That this is just a slop fest? One guy hasn't fought in 3 years. One guy isn't very good, but has fought recently. So yeah, give me Darius Flowers at plus 180. Like, I'll take it, I guess.
Yeah, just like Chris, I thought Lando was done, like retired, gone. I mean, 3 years off, and now he's back, and they bring him back against a guy who's 0-3 in the UFC. Like, this fight makes no sense. And I completely agree on the odds. How is Lando a minus 225 favorite?
What are they seeing? Like,
Lando has not won a fight in 5 years. I mean, Flowers hasn't won in the UFC too. I mean, we're basically picking between two guys who don't win fights. What a banger of a fight they put on here. This is a straight coin flip, but you know what? I'm also going to go Darius Flowers, and it's not even because I think he's way better. It's just I trust his urgency more. Like, Flowers at least feels like he's fighting for something. He needs that first UFC win. Lando has been around. He had his moments. He dropped Tony Ferguson back in the day. I mean, that was years ago. And now, I mean, now he might be a little gun shy coming off that Zellhuber KO, and Flowers. Yeah, he's sloppy, but I mean, he's aggressive, and I could see him just pushing the pace, making it ugly, maybe even mixing in a little wrestling, making it a grind. If they're striking, I honestly think Flowers might be landing the bigger shots. So yeah, I will also take the dog here gladly at plus 185. Give me Darius Flowers by decision. This is just a weird, messy fight, but I'm telling you right now, as much as I am kind of hopping on the underdog train here, it is a coin flip. I would not go crazy betting this fight. I probably
do not bet this fight. Do not touch this fight.
People will because they're crazy, but
here in the world, I'll be like, ooh, plus 180, plus 180, donkey. It's like perfect.
Yeah, I can't get with it personally, but we'll move right along. Next up, Alessandro Costa versus Stuart Nickel. This one's a lot more straightforward. Give me Alessandro Costa. I know people are going to look at his last fight and be like, oh, he got smoked. I think context does matter. He was injured going into that fight, for one, and he fought a legit prospect, in Tatsuro Taira's camp. Like, I'm not overreacting to that, because when Costa is right, he is solid. Good striking, heavy hands, nasty calf kicks, solid Muay Thai base. I mean, the guy can grapple too. With Nickel, I really just don't see it. He came in with some hype, but it got exposed pretty quickly. He got submitted in round one. He got outstruck badly. I mean, the stand-up is just not there. And against Costa, you can't just be one-dimensional. I don't think Nickel has the striking to hang, and I don't think he's going to dominate the grappling either. So, I mean, what's his path? Like, I don't really see one. Costa should be the more physical guy, and honestly, just the better fighter overall. I think he could finish this fight maybe with ground and pound, but I'm leaning a decision here, just a clean, controlled win for Alessandro Costa. So I'll say he gets it done 29-28. Maybe a 30-27 will be sprinkled in on the cards, but Costa by decision will be the pick.
Yeah, I think Costa's the way better fighter in this. And I like how you mentioned that Nickel did come in with some prospect hype, and I was decently high on him. I thought he was going to be able to shake some things up. It hasn't really panned out for him, losing to Jesus Aguilar in the first round by sub, and then Lucas Roja in Rocha, pretty sure it's Rocha, by decision. But yeah, I think Costa, he's just the more aggressive fighter. And the Alden Correa fight, I mean, Alden Correa is legit, and we're seeing that pan out right in front of our eyes. In his last fight, he looked amazing. Costa did injure himself in that fight too against Correa. If I remember correctly, I think he was backing up and his foot got caught in the cage, and then after that, it was just all downhill. He severely injured himself, and not to take anything away from Correa, because Correa was absolute nails from start to finish in that fight. But I think we all expected a lot more from Costa in that. Yeah, Costa, super aggressive. He's a solid striker, but I think he makes the most out of his skills with his ground game. I'm going to say Costa by sub. I think he'll be able to catch nickel in a sub. Could even be, club and sub, ground and pound. I can see him winning by ground and pound. He has great top pressure. So if he's able to drag nickel to the ground, I think it should be fairly easy for Alessandro Costa to bounce back in this. But yeah, another somewhat interesting fight. I think it's kind of just a fight for Costa to get back in the win column, if I'm being completely honest. But yeah, it should be easy for Costa. I feel like I'm gonna be saying that a lot in this video. It should be easy for some people. But yeah, give me Alessandro Costa by sub.
All right. Now this one is interesting.
Another slop fest.
Guilherme Pot versus Thomas Peterson. Chris, who you got?
I was actually pretty conflicted on this fight, if I'm being completely honest. Thomas Peterson, his last time out, faced Vitor Petrino, who was taking his first fight at heavyweight. He did move up, and we always talk about fighters, moving up compared to moving down. I think for Vitor Petrino, that definitely panned out well for him, being able to move up. And realizing that, that weight cut was brutal. And I think heavyweight just suits him a lot better. But I mean, I was kind of comparing Vitor Petrino and Guilherme Pat. I obviously, I think Vitor Petrino is better than Guilherme Pat, and that's kind of a given. But Pat's also pretty athletic, and he does have a solid striking game. But for me, it's the takedown defense is abysmal. It's so bad. It's really not his strong suit. And I don't think Thomas Peterson is like very good. He's okay, but when I look at the line, I mean, so before I looked at the line, I was like, oh, Guilherme Pat, he'll probably be a solid favorite. Not even a favorite anymore. I mean, Thomas Peterson is favored in this fight. I'm looking at DraftKings.
It's more or less
minus 118. Yeah, it's more or less a pick 'em, but I was expecting Guilherme Pat to be the undoubted favorite, even around like minus 200. And I just did not expect that. I'm gonna go with Thomas Peterson. I feel like this is also kind of a crappy fight to really choose a side in, but if I had to, yeah, I'm gonna go with Peterson. I feel like if he's able to get hands on Pat, even though Pat's the way bigger guy in this, I mean, look at that, 6'6" to 6'1". If he's able to take down Pat, I think he might just smother him on the ground. If it stays on the feet, then Pat has the advantage just because of the length and size, and he's decently powerful too. But yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna side with Thomas Peterson. This is tricky. I would stay away from this. This is a pure coin flip. But just on my analysis, expecting Pat to be a solid to big favorite, and now he's the underdog, I feel like odds makers and bettors are seeing something that maybe I wasn't initially. So yeah, give me Thomas Peterson. And I'm not picking a method because I don't even want to pick a money line, but yeah, that's how I feel.
Wow. Okay. I'm going with Pat here. And I actually feel pretty good about it. I think this dude looks like a legit prospect at heavyweight. Legit prospect at heavyweight. Take those words with a major grain of salt. I don't think there's a very high bar to clear, but 6'5", long, athletic, fast, and more importantly, he is technical. You don't see a lot of that at heavyweight. I mean, he's got range striking. I really like his elbows in close. He's got good movement, and he's way quicker than Peterson. Now, yes, Peterson is tough. He's going to come forward. He's going to try to wrestle. I agree, but he is hittable, and we've seen him get knocked out before badly. You bring up that Petrino fight, he got slumped. So I think what happens here is Pat keeps it at range in round one, picks him apart. I think he will defend the takedowns well enough, and then he'll start landing his shots. And once he starts landing clean, I mean, Peterson is in trouble. I think Pat eventually finds the finish, maybe round 2 or 3. I think this feels like a showcase fight for him. So give me Guilherme Pat by TKO as the underdog here. I think this is a solid one where if you wanted to really believe in the athleticism of Pat and take him as a dog in this fight, I think it's worth the shot. I'll be taking it. But, it is heavyweight, so you never know. But that is the feature prelim. Moving right along to our main card. If you're still with us, make sure you like the video, subscribe, turn those post notifications on, and let's get into it. Fight number 1 of the main card. This has been a little bit of time coming here. Jose Delano is fighting, and he's fighting Robert Ruschala. I'm going Delano here pretty confidently too. Well, for one, I've bought into Delano completely, but for two, I just don't buy Ruschala. Like I really don't. He's one of those guys where it's like, yeah, he is aggressive, he's scrappy, he'll shoot takedowns, but it's kind of chaotic. It's not clean. He's basically trying to turn everything into a brawl or a grind. And against Delano, that's not going to work because Delano is a problem. Like this dude is as legit of a prospect as legit prospects get. Clean boxing. He switches stances very frequently. He's really good at controlling distance. And you can just tell his fight IQ is higher. Like he's making reads in real time the way a Piotr Jan would. I think that's what Delano is doing at featherweight. He's not just throwing to throw. And Ruschala, he's going to come in wild. He's going to be throwing overhands, trying to clinch. I think he's going to get caught a lot. Now, I think Ruschala could definitely wrestle, but I don't think he's going to have success like that here because Delano's takedown defense is solid. And, he can even wrestle offensively if he needs to. So, yeah, on the feet, it's not even close. Delano is way cleaner. I think Ruschala makes it ugly at times, maybe has moments. But overall, Delano is going to control this fight. So, give me Jose Delano by decision. It should be a pretty clear win here. Maybe Ruschala gets a round. I could see it being a 29-28, maybe even, I don't know. Yeah, I'd say it's going to be a 30-27 or a 29-28, maybe on one scorecard, but Delano gets it done.
Yeah, Delano is an absolute menace. I mean, his Contender Series fight was awesome. Like this guy
in my power rankings, this guy was number 1. I forgot to mention this is my number 1
guy.
Sure
I had him number 1 too.
Yeah, I think he is the truth. So
yeah, he's not even clinical. He's surgical on the feet. I'll use that word to describe him because watching him, it's pretty awesome. I mean, this guy he can hit you with literally everything in the book. And I like what you said about making reads. Yeah, he's downloading data in real time and then using it against you. Ruschala, I mean, I think his best attribute is, just his durability, toughness, and grit. And I'm a big believer in if that's, I guess, your best trait, that's not really what you want. I mean, I do think he will be able to make it ugly because I think he will be walking forward and he might be able to put Delano on the back foot. But like I said, Delano, like I and Shrikar both said, I think Delano is just super good at adapting and using the things that he's given and working with them and hitting you back tenfold. So with what Ruschala brings to the table, I think that's just going to feed perfectly into Delano's game. And he's going to make this, I think he's going to make it pretty easy. I think there's going to be a showcase and kind of stinks that he's not being put on a bigger card because I feel like this fight might get swept under the rug because there's not going to be that many people watching it. I wish he would have been on a more high profile fight card just so people could actually get eyes on him and say like, wow, this guy's good. But I can already say pretty confidently, I think we're going to be seeing some highlights of Jose Delano piecing up Robert Ruschala all over social media. So yeah, give me Delano, make it easy. I want to take him by knockout, but Ruschala is a dog and he is pretty tough. So I guess I'll side with decision, but a knockout is completely in the cards for this. Decision is plus 125 for Delano, and I think knockout is plus 275. But yeah, I mean, I would kind of stay away from the methods in this just because you don't really know what's going to happen. But what I do know is going to happen is Delano is going to absolutely beat the brakes off Ruschala.
100%. Can't wait to see it. This is one of the fights that I could say I'm definitely excited for. The debut of Jose Delano and another debut here, Chris. All right, let's keep this one simple. Tommy McMillen versus Manolo Zucchini. Give me your pick.
All right, we have great value Sean O'Malley versus the Italian stallion Zucchini. That's not his nickname, but he is Italian, so I'll give it to him. Yeah, I think McMillen's going to win this. This is a setup, if I'm being completely honest. McMillen, though, in his Contender Series fight, did struggle a lot. He did get dropped or hit very badly 3 times in the first round and came back and just poured it on. I forgot who he fought, but he poured
David
it on his
McMillen.
opponent. Oh, good pull. Good pull. Yeah. Regardless, McMillen is in the UFC and the other guy is not, sadly. But yeah, I mean, McMillen just throws caution to the wind. He's super aggressive. Doesn't really care if he's going to get hit, which in the future, I think might come back to bite him. I think he needs to start being a little more technical as he climbs the ranks, because that can only get you so far, is just throwing caution to the wind and eating shots to give shots. And I think he is a good enough striker where he can possess a little bit of technicality and just more like just practice. What was I gonna say? How was I gonna word this? I was about to word it so weirdly. I was gonna say practice safe striking, but then I was like, that sounds really weird. That sounds weird. We're gonna put a pause on that one. But yeah, I mean, Tommy McMillen all day. I think this is a setup fight for him. He should go in there and absolutely kill Manola Zucchini. But yeah, I mean, we'll see if he gets the Sean O'Malley treatment. He is his teammate, and Dana White loves Sean O'Malley. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, this feels like a setup. So give me McMillen by knockout. I think he should make it pretty easy, and it should be emphatic.
Yeah, I'm not picking a guy named Zucchini. I'm not doing it.
Zucchini, which actually I think means sugar.
McMillen should absolutely run through Zucchini. Like, the odds are insane for a reason. This is one of those mismatches. McMillen is super, super tough. He is tough as hell. Great wrestling. He has solid submissions. And we already saw him survive some crazy adversity in his last fight and still win. And for what it's worth, David McGoyan is good comp. Like, he's actually a really, really good fighter on the regional scene. But Zucchini, long layoff, very, very sloppy striking, is extremely hittable, and he's coming off a KO loss. Again, yeah, I agree with you. It just feels like a setup. McMillen can win this however he wants. KO, sub, whatever. I'll say submission just because I think he eventually takes him down and wraps something up. But yeah, McMillen, easy money, not even much to break down here. Now, this next fight is an actual interesting fight. Ethyn Ewing is back. We have Ethyn Ewing going up against Rafael Estevam, who is moving up to bantamweight. And I know Estevam is undefeated. I believe he's 14-0, 13-0, something like that. Yeah, 14-0.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm picking Ethyn Ewing. I'm fading the weight bully. Estevam's whole game has been bullying smaller guys at 125, missing weight, using his size, spamming takedowns. Now he's at 135, and I think it's a bit of a different story because now you're fighting guys your size, and that advantage is now gone. And we've already seen signs. He fades in the third round. His cardio dips. These third rounds have not been kind to Rafael Estevam. Now you enter Ethyn Ewing. This dude can strike. He has a really good, educated jab, very clean combos. He has some legit power. He pushes a pace on you. Like, he doesn't slow down. And he can wrestle too. It's not like he's clueless there. So yeah, Estevam might get the early takedowns, but what happens after that? If Ewing gets back up, starts landing, starts pushing pace, I think Estevam breaks in this fight. I could honestly see a late finish here. Just with the body shots, the pressure that Ewing brings, and Estevam's gas tank draining in fights, and then boom, round 2 or 3 TKO. I could totally see that. So yeah, give me Ethyn Ewing by KO. I think he puts him away in the third round.
Yeah, this one's really tricky. I think this line is subject to recency bias of what Ethyn Ewing just did to Malcolm Wellmaker. I'm going with Rafael Estevam. We got some parity here. I do love Ethyn Ewing's game. I think that he is an absolute warrior. He came in on short notice and beat the absolute brakes off Malcolm Wellmaker. But I mean, I don't see. I feel like this should be a pick'em at best. I don't see why Estevam now. Everyone was extremely high on him, and now he's fighting Ethyn Ewing, who, like I said, just beat the brakes off Malcolm Wellmaker, who's not a grappler in the slightest, and now everyone's on the Ethyn Ewing train. I think that Esteban will be able to grapple in this fight. And I think that's where he's going to make most of his due. I obviously Ewing will have the advantage on the feet, but I mean, why? I don't understand why people are now, kind of putting Esteban down. I do agree with the fading in the third round. And the cardio drop off, which will be bad. But at the same time, I mean, if Ewing's able to stuff the first few takedowns, it's 100% his fight. But if he's not, and Esteban is getting takedowns at will, he could just drown Ethyn Ewing. I'm gonna go with Esteban because I see him getting some takedowns and eating up minutes because, he's very good on the ground. His top control is great. I mean, even in the Felipe Bunez fight, his last fight, he landed takedowns at will. And Bunez, who's actually a pretty good sub specialist off his back, really wasn't able to do anything. He almost caught a submission, but I mean, I don't know. I think there's a world where Esteban lands some takedowns and drowns Ethyn Ewing on the ground. I think the subject of the matter is, will he be able to hang on the feet? And will Ethyn Ewing be able to stuff takedowns? But right now, I see the value in Esteban plus 120. I'm going to take him. Could be subject to change. I want to see how he looks on the scales, as well as Ethyn Ewing. So Ethyn Ewing, when he fought Wellmaker, I forgot. Is he originally a bantamweight or is he a featherweight moving down?
So that fight was at 145, I believe, because
okay. I know. Well, Wellmaker is featherweight, right?
No, Wellmaker's
he's bantamweight. Okay. So that was catchweight.
They were both.
So I guess
they both came in overweight.
Yeah, all right. So I guess Ewing is a bantamweight. Sorry, that just slipped my mind. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I'm gonna side with Esteban right now, subject to change. I want to see how both guys look on the scales, but I do like the grappling upside from Esteban.
I'm just standing on my word here. If you guys go back to the UFC 322 recap where Ewing beat Wellmaker, I went on that recap. I said Ethyn Ewing he has top 10 potential within this weight class. And he is going to be a special fighter in the UFC. If I really believed in them that much, I would pick him to beat Rafael Esteban. And I think that's what
that's valid. That's definitely a valid sentiment.
So I'm thinking we see another great showing from Ethyn Ewing. And maybe we'll see another good showing from this guy. Abdul-Rakhman Yakyaev going up against Brendason Ribeiro. Chris, yes. I mean, this feels like a total squash match.
Yakyaev in 1 minute. In under a minute. I wasn't able to find it for the Terrence McKinney fight. I don't even know if DK offers it anymore.
They do.
But
first minute finish is there.
I need to find it because I'm taking
first minute finish is plus 350.
Yes, please. Where is it? What?
So you go to fight props and then first minute finish.
Fight props. All right, let's see. They do not have it here.
Wow, really? Because I'm seeing fight to go to distance, decision, last second finish, first minute finish, and point deduction on the fight props tab.
All right, let's check my phone. Maybe because I'm not signed in. Unless
which by the way, plus 350 for the fight to end in the first minute is incredible value.
Yeah, that's insane. Like, dude, that should be like minus plus 1,000 in certain cases. Let's see. Fight props. Sorry, I'm taking time away from
Yakyaev KO round 1 is minus 105. Yakyaev submission round 1 is plus 140.
Yeah, dude. So, I don't think they offer that in New York.
Well, inferior state, I'm afraid.
Yeah, that sucks because I'm signed in and then I wasn't signed into my computer, and that's just literally not here in fight props.
You know what? Send me some money. I'll put the bet in for you.
might have to, maybe. Yeah, but I can see fight parlays. What is him in under half a round? Plus 140. Oh, that sucks. That's still good value though. Yeah, Yakyaev by absolute demolition. Ribeiro has shown me nothing. Yakyaev is just straight up a killer. This guy goes in there and he tries to knock you out within the first 30 seconds of every fight, and he has the ability to do it. Clinical striker. He's actually a very good grappler too. Ribeiro, he's kind of just a brawler, loves chaos. I think Yakyaev brings the chaos to him, and in a chaotic fight, I'm siding with Yakyaev. I think it's as simple as that.
Yeah, we're always going to keep it real here in the war room. This is going to be Yakyaev all day. Brennison Ribeiro does have power. I'll give him that. If he lands clean, he can crack. And for lower level competition, I think his ground game has had some moments too. But once he's been put in there with better guys, he gets exposed pretty fast. You look at those last couple losses. One guy absolutely nuked him. Another guy mauled him on the ground. And that's kind of the problem here because Yakyaev can do both. That's what makes this such a rough matchup for Ribeiro. Yakyaev isn't just some one-dimensional dude. He can hurt you on the feet. He pressures well. Once the fight hits the ground, he looks like a problem there too. He is a finisher. That's really the biggest thing. This dude is not looking to coast to a decision. He is looking to get you out of there. So when I look at this matchup, I just see a young prospect with real upside getting a very, very favorable opponent. I think he can literally win this however he wants. He could clip Ribeiro in the first round. He could force him to a panic, finish with ground and pound, or he could just club and sub him. That might be the vibe I get the most here. I think he hurts him on the feet, wraps it up on the ground. I think Yakyaev will win by club and sub. And yeah, the odds are insane for a reason. When you're seeing a line that wide, that tells you everything. Ribeiro's chance is basically one punch. He has to land something crazy. Outside of that, I think this gets ugly fast. So give me Abdul-Rakhman Yakyaev by first round sub. Could be a club and sub, could be straight ground domination into a finish, but either way, I think he runs through him, quite frankly. Co-main event, Virna Jandiroba versus Tabatha Ricci. This one is interesting because this fight made me think for a minute. I'm going Jandiroba, but I'm not acting like this is an easy pick to make. This is one of those fights where I think people are going to get a little too caught up in what they just saw. Jandiroba is coming off that loss to Mackenzie Dern, and Ricci is coming off a nice win over Amanda Hebos. So I get why some people are leaning Ricci, but I'm not going to fall for the recency bias here. To me, the Dern fight is more about styles than it is Jandiroba suddenly being washed. Dern is just kind of her kryptonite. I think we just got to face the facts there. And even in that fight, Jandiroba still landed takedowns. That matters when you're talking about a fight like this. Because when I look at Tabatha Ricci, I see a good, scrappy fighter, but I don't see somebody that's just going to overpower Jandiroba. I actually think it's the opposite. I think Jandiroba is stronger, probably the better pure wrestler in this matchup. Ricci is definitely quicker on the feet. She's got more speed. She'll throw in combos, but she's not some super clean striker either. She gets hit a decent amount. And sometimes she can be a little wild with the flurries. That being said, Jandiroba's striking isn't amazing, but I think the leg kicks could matter here. I think she can slow Ricci down a little bit, make it ugly, then just start turning this into the kind of fight she wants. That's really how I see this playing out. A lot of cage work, a lot of grinding, some key takedowns from Jandiroba, maybe a lot of control time without doing a ton of damage, but enough to win rounds. And the age thing doesn't scare me as much here because her style should age better than a striker style would. She's not relying on speed. She's not relying on explosiveness. She's relying on grappling, control. That kind of game can still hold up. So yeah, I think Ricci has moments. I think she probably has some success on the feet. But overall, I trust Jandiroba's wrestling. I trust Jandiroba's physicality more. So give me Virna Jandiroba by decision. It's going to be a competitive fight. Probably one of those gritty 29-28 wins where she just lands the more important takedowns, just achieves the better control over the 3 rounds here. So I'll take Virna by decision.
Yeah, this is actually a very interesting fight. I did struggle kind of making a pick in this, and I really wanted to come on here and say baby shark do 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 baby shark do do. I'm not even gonna finish it because that's whatever. I'm 23.
Please,
I shouldn't be.
Yeah, we're too grown.
My cousins love baby shark, but that's enough for baby shark. Yeah, I really like Ricci. Actually, her last time out against Amanda Hebos, I predicted her to win by knockout, or was it knockout? It was finish, and the under 2.5 was like plus 600. So I did have that going for me. But Yeah, I do think that Ricci will have the ability to potentially negate some of the grappling from Jandiroba, and I do think she is the better striker. But yeah, there might be a little recency bias in this because of what happened with Jandiroba against Mackenzie Dern. Um, but yeah, I think like just physically, Jandiroba is the stronger fighter. She fights a lot bigger than I guess she is. And Ricci being 5'1", I mean, we've said it before. If they were going to open up an atom weight division, I think Ricci would be the champion undoubtedly because I mean, I don't know. There's not that much room for the UFC to open it up, but they should think about it. I think she would fit in perfectly with that. She is just a little bit undersized, and for a grappler like Jandiroba, who it can be very dominant at times, honestly, most of the time, I think that she might just overwhelm Ricci and just hang on her, like really just wear her down, be able to drag her to the mat. I think Ricci could have a few moments, but I think Jandiroba, she's going to come in, she's going to be aggressive, she's going to put Ricci on the back foot, and once she gets hands on her, I mean, the takedowns, it's only a matter of time before she gets her to the mat. Like it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. That's how I see it with Jandiroba. But yeah, I think she's going to come out fiery, especially losing to Dern in at UFC 321. But yeah, it should. This will be an interesting fight to see how Ricci's able to kind of combat Jandiroba's grappling, because Jandiroba isn't the best striker, but she can hold her own. I just think that Ricci's a little more technical, has a little more power, and she's more comfortable on the feet. But definitely, as soon as it hits the mat, I mean, I think Ricci's best bet is to kind of just throw up subs from her back and really just try and catch Jandiroba. But Jandiroba, she's pretty dominant on the ground and in the wrestling department. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Jandiroba, but it'll be interesting to see how this one pans out. As a co-main event, maybe not the best, but it is what it is. It's still a pretty highly touted strawweight bout between two of the top contenders in this division. But yeah, it's only a matter of time before Zhang Weili comes back down and takes the belt again. So
Yeah.
they're just fighting for a chance to fight Zhang Weili. So that's how I see it.
All right. Main event time, Renato Moicano versus Chris Duncan. You guys are still with us. Make sure you like the video, subscribe, drop in the comments who you got for this main event in the Apex. Chris, I'm going to go to you first because your name brother, Chris Duncan, is right there. So are you going to pick him?
Of course I am. I absolutely love Chris Duncan. He is so fun to watch. This dude does not care. He goes in there and throws caution to the wind every time. I mean, it's just a matter of if he's going to win by knockout or sub. Will he sub Moicano? I don't think so. I think I'd rather opt for a knockout. But Chris Duncan, he is a silly gilly goose. He does love his guillotines. He's a really nice power guillotine. But yeah, I mean, Moicano, fan favorite, Money Moicano. He always does well in promoting fights. He's a funny guy. Has some interesting post-fight interviews in the octagon and at the table. But yeah, I think Chris Duncan, he's just going to come in, throw caution to the wind. He's going to pressure Moicano and put him on the back foot literally instantly. He has the power to shut anyone's lights off. And Moicano, am I really going to trust? I mean, he's only plus 145, but am I really going to trust him after he just lost to Benny Dariush, who is on a tremendous downhill skid? No, I'm not. I think Chris Duncan comes in, nails from start to finish. I'm saying Chris Duncan by first round knockout. I think he makes it look very easy, and he keeps climbing the ranks. I mean, I like I said before, I think this is a fight to really just boost Chris Duncan into the top. What is Moicano? Is he 11, 12?
He is, according to the website, he's 10.
10. Okay. Boost Chris Duncan in the top 10. I think it's really just I think this is just a setup fight to get Chris Duncan, who's a very exciting fighter, and he can be very marketable just because of the type of fights that he puts on in the UFC. So yeah, I think this is just a boost up fight, and Chris Duncan goes in there and absolutely smokes Renato Moicano.
Yeah, I'm also going to go Chris Duncan. I've seen some of the discourse on Twitter, and I know some people are say Moicano's the bigger name. He's more experienced. He's the ranked guy, all that stuff. But I also really like Duncan in this spot. And the first reason is momentum. Chris Duncan just feels like a guy that's getting better every time out. He's on a strong run. More importantly, he still feels like a guy chasing something. There is hunger there. Moicano, and I hate to say this because we're on a podcast right now, he feels like a dude with a lot going on. He's got the YouTube channel, the podcast stuff, the gym, the name recognition, the money. None of that means he can't still win, but when fights get ugly, I start to ask the question of who wants it more. And in this matchup, I lean Duncan. And again, it's so ironic. I'm saying this from my house on a YouTube channel in a video we are recording, bashing on another guy with a podcast. But I don't mean for it to be that way. It's just kind of how things are. He's juggling a lot of things. I'm going to take that into account. But then you get into the actual fight itself, and I think Duncan has a lot of the right tools. He's dangerous on the feet. He hits hard. He throws his elbows really well.
He can make with that.
I mean, he can make a fight chaotic in a way that's really hard to deal with. And I'm not convinced Moicano handles that especially well at this stage. I mean, Moicano's striking is okay, but it's not like he's the sniper on the feet. He's usually striking as a way to set up the grappling. That's the big key here. If he can't consistently get Duncan down, what does this fight look like? Because I don't love his chances of just cleanly controlling Chris Duncan for long stretches. I mean, Duncan's defensive wrestling is pretty solid. His get-up game is good. He hand fights well. He doesn't seem like the kind of guy who's just going to accept bottom position and play guard. He wants to get back up immediately and go right back to war. And that matters a lot against Moicano because Moicano's best path is pretty obvious. Get the fight to the mat, find the back, control positions, maybe find a submission while you're doing all that. But I think getting there is easier said than done. And if those takedowns start failing, that's where I think this gets bad for Moicano. Now he's stuck on the feet longer than he wants to be. Now he's getting pressured. Now Duncan's landing hard shots. He'll definitely start ripping the legs, again, throwing the elbows in close, making it uncomfortable. I think Duncan can absolutely hurt him in this fight. I think Moicano could definitely still have moments. I mean, if he gets the back, if he gets a clean grappling sequence going, he can absolutely make things dangerous. He's still got a serious jiu-jitsu game. But overall, I trust Duncan's pace. I trust his urgency more. And honestly, I think Duncan might finish him. A knockout wouldn't shock me at all. But I also kind of get that weird submission angle too. I mean, if Duncan hurts him and Moicano starts panic wrestling, maybe he leaves something there. That's not impossible.
Silly gilly goose. He is a silly gilly goose.
Very, very possible. Still, if I'm making the cleanest call, I'll say Duncan wins this by late TKO or a hard-fought decision. I think this goes into the championship rounds. I think that'll be my hot take with this fight. I just think the younger guy, the hungrier guy, the more dangerous guy on the feet is going to take over here. So, yeah. Give me Chris Duncan in the main event. I think this is his breakout moment. I think he'll put it all together here. And yeah, I think he'll get it done. But that is the full card predictions and betting breakdown for UFC Vegas 115, Moicano versus Duncan. Chris, you got something to say?
Under 2.5 is minus 140 in that fight. Duncan by first round knockout is plus 350.
Yeah, I don't know if it's going to happen in the first round.
I don't know, bro. Duncan does not care. He's gonna go in there and put Moicano on the back foot instantly.
Yeah, but Moicano also has a pretty decent chin. I don't know. I think he'll survive a little bit.
Yeah, we'll see.
But either way it goes, I see Duncan getting the finish either way. No matter where it comes.
I love Chris Duncan. He's awesome. If you're watching Chris Duncan, you're probably not. You're the man. You're the man.
We're going with Chris's namesake, Chris Duncan, in the main event. Again, comment down below all your picks for the main event and throughout the card. If you disagree with us anywhere, make sure to let us hear it because we'll respond. Socials down below. Again, final picks are going to be coming on the day of the fights on Saturday. But yeah, overall, I don't think my thoughts on the card have changed at all. I don't, and I'm going to try and watch it. I don't think I can.
I will probably be watching Arizona versus Michigan in the Final Four.
Yeah, I'll probably be watching some college hoops in that time. But
I am excited to watch Delano, McMillen, Yakyaev, and Chris Duncan. Those are my big four I'm on the lookout for on Saturday.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Obviously, it's another filler card before UFC 327 next week, which we will be locked in for. But yeah, from the War Room, from Chris Schroyer, from Shrikar Gendron, we will see you guys very, very soon. We'll try and get a recap stream if we can. I'm sorry we missed last week. We'll try and see if we can get a recap stream going for Sunday or beyond. Obviously, it's kind of dependent on how many of us actually watch this card and then go back and watch the fights. So we'll see. But thank you guys for rocking with us. We will see you guys very, very soon. Peace.